When it comes to kangaroos, many people may think of heartwarming moments of mothers with their joeys or terrifying scenes of muscular creatures. This animal is an iconic symbol of Australia, along with the emu, both featured on the national emblem. However, in this vast land, the government annually permits the culling of millions of kangaroos. In this episode, we will discuss why Australia hunts these representative animals and explore the ethical and commercial controversies hidden behind it. If this is your first time tuning into our channel, the primary focus here is to provide critical perspectives on historical or societal controversial events, offering insightful descriptions and commentary. If you're interested, please consider subscribing to our channel and turning on the notification bell. Let's get started. In 2023, the Australian government announced an annual cap of 5 million kangaroos for hunting. This practice has been in place for many years in the country. Every year, millions of kangaroos are legally culled in Australia. Although the numbers may seem staggering, the population of wild kangaroos continues to increase. Official statistics indicate that when commercial kangaroo hunting was opened across Australia in 2009, there were approximately 27 million kangaroos. Just 4 years later, this number skyrocketed to 50 million. Currently, there are still tens of millions of kangaroos in Australia, surpassing the national human population by a significant margin. Despite the ongoing hunting programs, the kangaroo population continues to grow, and there are several reasons behind this phenomenon. Firstly, the artificially hunted quantities are insufficient to curb the reproduction of this species. The fundamental factor lies in the fact that kangaroos in the region have almost no natural predators. In the centuries prior, Australia originally had carnivorous animals like the Tasmanian tiger, but extensive hunting by British colonizers and local indigenous people led to the extinction of such creatures. With the removal of top predators from the food chain, kangaroos have multiplied extensively. The vast grassland areas in the country have become a paradise for kangaroos. In the eyes of Australian zoologists, kangaroos currently have few natural enemies, limited to a small number of wild dogs and passing cars. Local insurance industry data indicates that Australia experiences over 20,000 vehicle accidents involving animals each year, with kangaroos accounting for 80% of these incidents. However, this relatively small number of accidents cannot match the rapid reproduction rate of kangaroos. At this point, you might be curious. Kangaroos are a native species to Australia and are even considered a distinctive national symbol. Why is the government making considerable efforts, including encouraging nationwide hunting, to reduce their population? This stems from the philosophy of wildlife management. With the development of human civilization, ecological environments around the world have been more or less altered by human activities. Situations where the population of a particular species increases or decreases significantly are common. From an ecological perspective, a substantial increase in the population of a specific species may surpass the carrying capacity of the environment, leading to the collapse and disruption of the food chain. In a butterfly effect manner, these effects can propagate throughout the entire ecosystem. Therefore, as the most influential species, humans have the ability to control the population of individual species to maintain ecological balance in a given area. In Australia, the continuous increase in kangaroo populations can directly lead to two major problems. Firstly, it stems from the nature of kangaroos. These creatures feed on grass, and an increase in their population directly leads to a reduction in greenery, depriving birds, insects, and reptiles of their habitats. It also affects human agricultural and pastoral activities. The second issue revolves around kangaroos themselves. The population of these animals undergoes cyclical changes. If the kangaroo population increases too much during the rainy season, a large-scale die-off may occur when the dry season arrives. In recent years, Australia has experienced higher cumulative rainfall. The lush vegetation that follows heavy rainfall provides an ideal environment for kangaroo reproduction. However, the environment will eventually return to normal. If the population is not well controlled, it can lead to catastrophic death tolls when the environment transitions back to its usual state. Therefore, the Australian government employs three main approaches to control the population of wild kangaroos. First, capture, sterilization, and release. This involves capturing kangaroos, sterilizing them, and then releasing them back into the wild. Secondly, encouraging commercial hunting. The government encourages commercial hunting by promoting the value of kangaroo meat and leather products, aiming to increase the economic incentive for people to participate in hunting. Thirdly, non-commercial hunting. Licensed hunters engage in compensated hunting activities. From an academic perspective, controlling the kangaroo population seems reasonable. The Australian government conducts scientific monitoring and statistics before announcing hunting quotas. However, this approach is still controversial in the eyes of animal welfare groups. Animal welfare advocates question one of the reasons authorities cite for culling kangaroos, which is the concern for vegetation destruction. They argue that there is no evidence proving that killing kangaroos can save the environment. The crucial issue, according to these groups, is the Australian livestock industry. Animal welfare organisations assert that the overgrazing of cattle and sheep is the primary cause of land degradation in the country. The second controversy stems from considerations of animal welfare. Animal welfare groups argue that even professionally trained hunters inevitably cause suffering during hunting, not to mention the general public who pursue hunting as a recreational activity. Tens of thousands of kangaroos die each year in pain and hunger. Beyond these two main arguments, the larger debate centres around the commercial interests hidden behind the killing of kangaroos. Statistical figures reveal that processing kangaroo meat and skin creates a $200 million Australian industry in Australia. The government has long considered kangaroo meat as an essential export product and has secured access to 60 overseas markets. In recent years, kangaroo leather, known for its quality and affordability, has gained popularity in various markets, particularly in the production of high-end football shoes by major sports brands. Many animal welfare groups question the government's motives behind culling kangaroos, condemning policies that prioritize official interests. Through significant international pressure, some major global brands have started gradually phasing out the use of kangaroo leather, opting for synthetic alternatives. From the perspective of animal welfare advocates, reducing the economic value directly diminishes the incentive for hunting, influencing the current situation. However, for the government and the kangaroo industry, this touches upon their bottom line. In recent years, the Australian government has taken various actions demonstrating a determined defence of kangaroo products. Authorities first negotiated with the United States Department of Agriculture and then included kangaroo processed products in the draft of the Free Trade Agreement negotiations with the European Union. Subsequently, they extended their efforts to Taiwan, Vietnam, Thailand, and other places. There has been significant backlash from industries in these regions. Many businesses argue that animal welfare groups fundamentally misunderstand how the industry operates. The Australian Kangaroo Industry Association asserts that controlling the kangaroo population is imperative and hunting is the only effective method. They argue that if hunting is necessary, it should be carried out by professionally employed hunters hired by companies. If animal welfare activism leads to the decline of the industry and only amateur hunters are left to take orders, it can ultimately harm animal welfare. The kangaroo case highlights the dilemma between ideals and reality, and the involvement of commercial interests only complicates the issue further. Currently, Australia has not been able to reach a consensus on this matter. Looking at the entire land of Australia, often dubbed a paradise for wildlife, other species are gradually facing regulated fates. Apart from kangaroos, the biggest threats to the Australian ecosystem are foxes, rabbits, and feral cats. These animals share common characteristics: a limited number of natural predators, significant destructive capabilities, and astonishing reproductive capacities. Throughout Australia, foxes and feral cats alone kill billions of birds and reptiles annually. Allowing them to reproduce unchecked undoubtedly results in the death of other more vulnerable animals. Therefore, both the central and local authorities in Australia consistently employ methods such as poisoning, trapping, and hunting to control the populations of these invasive species. Despite appearing harmless to humans and livestock, rabbits pose a significant economic threat to Australia. Currently, there are as many as 200 million rabbits in the country, causing $200 million Australian dollars in agricultural damage annually. This has compelled authorities to implement various control measures, including hunting, poisoning, nest destruction, wire fencing, and even resorting to biological warfare with viruses to curb the rabbit population. Such efforts have been ongoing for years, and the Australian government's policies are based on sound reasoning. However, behind these actions lies an intricate problem: the ecological imbalance caused by human activities. The question arises whether animals should bear the consequences of human-induced ecological disruptions. The current plight of animals in Australia is essentially a result of human actions. Since the colonial period, humans introduced domestic cats to Australia, which eventually became the origin of the current feral cat population. During the development of agriculture and pastoral activities, humans also exterminated a large number of native species. The process of developing agriculture and pastoralism led to the uncontrolled proliferation of kangaroos. Lastly, driven by selfish human desires for hunting, introduced species such as rabbits and foxes were brought in. In summary, the long-term hunting of kangaroos in Australia is a reality that cannot be ignored. The controversies it has sparked seem unavoidable at present. It is hoped that authorities can find more humane approaches in the future to gain consensus from various stakeholders. That's all for today. If you want to continue supporting this channel, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell to ensure you don't miss any episodes. Lastly, if being radical is the new norm and objectivity is considered heretical, perhaps we should be radically objective. Until next time, stay curious and stay unconventional.